Party! Party!
Venice right now is like a Disneyland if we don't find a solution.
Fund improvements and enhanced experiences across the park system. For this anniversary, I've just signed an executive order to raise entrance fees for foreign tourists while keeping prices low for Americans.
Tourism, there's been a steep drop-off in international travel to the United States. It was down 12% last month, down even more from Western Europe. Why do you think that there are fewer people suddenly who want to travel to the United States?
Well, there could be a little, there's a little nationalism there, I guess, perhaps.
Tourism in Las Vegas is in a big slump this summer, costing the city billions of dollars. Some are saying that could signal trouble ahead for the U.S. economy.
While airports in America grind to a halt with 3-hour security lines and hotels slash prices just to survive, something extraordinary is happening across the Atlantic. Step foot in Venice and you'll understand immediately.
Walking around in Venice can be a challenge, and no wonder. The city gets about 30 million tourists every year.
Crowds so dense it feels like navigating a festival. And it's no surprise, the city alone sees nearly 30 million visitors a year. In Spain, the summer heat isn't just about the weather, it's peak season, and the tourists are everywhere. For Americans, the summer months have become synonymous with Europe. From June to September, millions cross the ocean. But this year, Europe didn't just set new records. It shattered them. And the reason isn't as simple as cheap flights or sunny skies. The truth goes far deeper. Picture this: Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport, 6 a.m. last Thursday. The arrival board reads like a global roll call: Bali, Bangkok, Boston, Beijing. But here's the twist. Those aren't departures. They're arrivals. Plane after plane unloading thousands of visitors every hour. Industry insiders aren't calling it a boom. They're calling it the Great European Rush of 2025. The numbers are jaw-dropping. Last year, Europe welcomed 747 million visitors. By the first quarter of this year, it had already passed 300 million. That's equivalent to the entire population of the United States arriving in just 3 months. Barcelona hit 94% hotel occupancy in August, so high that cruise ships were converted into makeshift floating hotels. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Atlantic, Times Square hotels are dangling 40% discounts just to fill rooms. In Miami, resorts are offering desperate buy 2 nights, get 3 free packages plastered across booking sites.
If you live in an American tourist hotspot, you might not have noticed it yet, but tourism to the U.S. is on the decline. Traveler spending here is already down 22.5%. That's from last year, and it may only get worse.
Well, international tourism to the United States has taken a hit since the start of the Trump administration. While global trade tensions are playing a part, many travelers are also put off by strict border controls.
Europe's story couldn't be more different. In Prague, midnight walking tours have become a necessity, created to handle the overflow of travelers who couldn't secure daytime spots. Restaurants are serving full menus until 2 a.m. on weekends, and some bars keep their kitchens running until dawn, not to clean, but to feed tourists still streaming in. And here's the critical difference. While America doubled down on restrictions, Europe tore them down. The United States now takes up to 180 days to process visas, with its ESTA system bogged down by biometric pre-screenings that can't even schedule an appointment for months. Europe, it's scrapped the old system altogether. The new digital travel authorization takes less than 3 minutes to fill out and costs €7, cheaper than a sandwich. That radical decision opened the floodgates. The revolution didn't stop with visas. Frankfurt unveiled Project Lightning, a complete reinvention of the airport experience. Gone are the endless lines and tense checkpoints. Instead, passengers stroll through what looks like a luxury shopping mall. Invisible biometric sensors handle everything: security, immigration, even customs. The average traveler goes from plane to taxi in just 12 minutes. Compare that to JFK in New York, where the same journey averages 2 hours and 45 minutes. The contrast is almost painful. Since the pandemic, tourism has exploded worldwide, but nowhere more than Europe. Cities like Rome, Paris, and London have always topped the list, but now even Tokyo is feeding into this surge. And if you ask why, the answer is simple: the power of social media. TikTok alone turned Europe into a global stage. Hashtags like #Eurosummer 2025 have crossed 1 billion views. A single video of Slovenia's underground kayaking went viral, drawing millions of tourists who had never even heard of the place before. This isn't just about vacation selfies, though. Tourism is now one of Europe's most powerful economic engines. The Galapagos Islands charge $200 per visitor to fund conservation and community development. Estonia's e-residency program has ballooned to over 2 million participants. Portugal's digital nomad visas are up nearly 850% in just 1 year. And while American tech giants remain headquartered in Silicon Valley, thousands of their employees are quietly relocating to Lisbon, Barcelona, or Tallinn, still on US payrolls, but living European lives. Croatia tells perhaps the most astonishing story. With only 3.8 million citizens, the country welcomed 31 million visitors in just 8 months. That's 8 tourists for every resident. And somehow, it works. AI-driven systems track crowd movements in real time, sending push notifications to redirect tourists before hotspots become unbearable. The result? Chaos that feels like spontaneity. At last month's European Travel Commission Summit, 33 nations showcased their innovations. Estonia highlighted its digital backbone, Greece rolled out 50% tax breaks for remote workers, and Copenhagen presented a culinary economy so successful that restaurants alone now generate 8.7% of the city's GDP. Michelin-starred chefs in Denmark are offering midnight tasting menus booked solid through 2026. Nothing is available until 2027. Meanwhile, American institutions look increasingly desperate. New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art scrapped its pay-what-you-wish policy just to keep the lights on. Orlando's theme parks are raising prices 15% annually despite falling attendance. Times Square's Broadway houses half-empty theaters while Europe's cultural icons expand capacity. The Louvre stays open late into the night. The Vatican built holographic Sistine chapels for overflow crowds. In Barcelona, visitors can pay €200 to lay stones in the unfinished Sagrada Familia under the guidance of architects. Tourists aren't just watching culture, they're participating in it. Spain provides another striking example. Tourism now makes up almost 14% of its GDP. What's fascinating is how patterns are shifting. Growth isn't just in the hot summer months. Shoulder seasons, spring and fall, are booming. Rural regions in the north are now attracting flows once limited to Madrid or Barcelona. Travelers aren't just chasing sun and beaches, they're seeking authenticity. Infrastructure is at the heart of Europe's success. The Interrail Global Pass connects 33 countries for as little as €212. Miss a train from Paris to Barcelona? Another leaves within hours. Compare that to Amtrak's Boston to DC corridor, 5 trains a day, routine 4-hour delays, and tickets that cost nearly as much one way as Europe's 4-day unlimited pass. The difference is almost laughable. Even healthcare tourism is rewriting the rules. In Munich, patients recover from surgery not in sterile wards, but in castles converted into luxury medical resorts. A knee replacement that costs $45,000 and requires a 3-month wait in the US is just €12,000 in Germany, including flights, a 2-week recovery stay, and rehabilitation hikes through the Bavarian Alps. Insurance companies have started quietly covering these trips, though they don't admit it publicly. Greece even turned its economic scars into assets. Abandoned buildings from the 2008 crisis have been transformed into art galleries and cultural centers, telling stories of resilience that draw curious visitors from around the world. Nordic countries reinvented their winters with igloo hotels, ice festivals, and Northern Lights packages, filling rooms at levels American cities can only dream of. And here's the kicker. Europe is doing it all while going green. Slovenia was declared the world's first fully certified green destination. Copenhagen rewards sustainable behavior with discounts and perks. Rather than scaring people away, these measures have the opposite effect. Visitors stay longer, spend more, and leave with higher satisfaction. Slowing down, it turns out, creates deeper experiences. So what keeps American tourism officials awake at night? The numbers. Europe now commands more than half the global tourism market, with international visitor spending reaching nearly $600 billion. The US has slipped not to second or third, but to 6th, trailing Southeast Asia and even Antarctica. Leaked documents from the European Tourism Council reveal their real concern: running out of physical space. Proposals are already in motion to build floating hotel cities in the Mediterranean, convert abandoned oil rigs into resorts, and terraform quarries into underground tourist complexes. Construction has already started. Think about that. Europe isn't worrying about decline, it's worrying about expansion. And while Europe pushes boundaries, America is still debating how to shorten airport security lines. Looking at this momentum, it's hard not to draw one conclusion. The window to catch up may not just be closing, it may already be shut.